Man, it's a good thing I am taking Sunday off because I don't think my voice can handle anymore being sick and recording all these days. But this is going to be a tough one, man. I apologize in advance if I sound like shit, but my voice is not doing too well right now, and I just want to try and get through this the best that I can, and I want to take it easy, no yelling. Let's talk about pro wrestling tonight. Let's talk about SmackDown. Let's talk about the Survivor Series build that was tonight on Friday night, and it was definitely a interesting way to close the show. It was definitely an interesting way to close the show. Bray Wyatt, Firefly Funhouse, that was probably one of the better segments with the Firefly Funhouse that we've seen in many weeks, and you could probably toss that up because Wyatt and Rollins had their match, and the segments between both of them were just god-awful. Burning it down and him just crying and weeping every time The Fiend came out. This was so much better. This was so much of a better presentation with Bray Wyatt and Daniel Bryan. And it works with Daniel Bryan because Daniel Bryan has just as much history with Bray Wyatt than anybody else in that company. You know, every time you think of Bray Wyatt, you think of the Wyatt family. Every time you think of the Wyatt family, you think of the iconic matches that they had with The Shield. They were Monday Night Raw. They were the entire backbone of that show. I still think this is too soon. I really still think this is too soon. I don't know why they're doing it. I don't know why they're rushing through it. There's so much story here to tell. And unless you're ready to give us another non-finish at Survivor Series for this to continue, I don't see what the point is. I really don't. You're booking this match and you're building a story between these two. Two guys that have so much history just based off what happened between those two in 3 weeks just to get this match at the Survivor Series. I don't know why. The match that they had on Monday Night Raw, the steel cage match in Rhode Island, where Daniel Bryan led the greatest yes chant in the history of yes chants. I still go back and watch it to this very day. Unbelievable. You guys know what I'm talking about. That moment, that match, that entire storyline between those two has just as much meaning than anything Wyatt has done with The Shield. And they're rushing through this to get this match and the title on Survivor Series. And it doesn't need to be. I don't know why WWE doesn't show the proper respect for proper storytelling. I don't know why they take this and just willingly just throw it away as if it's nothing, as if it means nothing. I said it once. I said it on the podcast. I said it for a couple weeks now. And I'm going to say it here again tonight. I don't think, and some of you might disagree with me, which is fine. Survivor Series has so much going on right now. NXT, Lesnar, Mysterio. You got all those triple threat matches, the tag team, the women's, the mid-card. It's looking like a great show. They got so much going on. Then you got the 5-on-5-on-5, SmackDown, Raw, NXT matches. So much going on that The Fiend is so special in his own right. And The Fiend just works on his own schedule. He doesn't need to be there. You don't need to have The Fiend defend the Universal Championship just because. The title now is on The Fiend. The Fiend is not like everybody else. He's not. The Fiend has history with Daniel Bryan. It doesn't need to be rushed for the Survivor Series. I don't want The Fiend to be overshadowed by everything that's happening on Survivor Series night. You have so many NXT talents there that are hungry and are waiting to prove everybody wrong, to steal the show. Why would you want to put a match that should be treated better on the Survivor Series with 3 weeks? With 3 weeks build. With no story there. Basically no story to be told. Just for the sake of getting it on the show. I find that to be a stupid decision. I really do. This could have been saved for the next pay-per-view. Could have been saved for TLC. Could have been saved for the Royal Rumble if you want. I don't know why you're rushing through challengers for Bray Wyatt so fast. After Daniel Bryan, who is there? Nobody. There is nobody. The only one remaining is Roman Reigns. And it's more than likely going to happen at WrestleMania. I just find it to be lazy. I really do. And this was a great segment. This was a very good segment. So we're going to talk about that and the MizTV segment, what Bryan said to The Miz, what The Miz said to Daniel Bryan. It's always a good interaction. Very good interaction between The Miz and Daniel Bryan. Then The Fiend shows up. We got a new Universal Championship. I love the way they went about that. I don't like the design. I thought it was very lazy. I wish WWE would fucking do something as far as creativity, but that's a word that's not in their vocabulary. So what am I going to do? You know? Everybody thinks I complain for the sake of complaining, but I want something more as far as creativity. What they did tonight was, yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, it looks better than the red, but man, can you go out there and get this guy something unique that fits him? The color blue and the blue scheme doesn't even fit the color scheme for his entire act. It's going to look ridiculous. Anyway, we got a new Universal Championship. We'll talk about that. Baron Corbin, another shit promo by Baron Corbin. Roman Reigns and Baron Corbin, who the fuck cares? Nobody gives a shit. We got a tag team title match that was great up until the Undisputed Era came out. We got Nikki Cross and Bayley. That didn't even take place because Shayna Baszler came out and then was confronted by NXT. So we got a lot of NXT presence on this show. We're going to go over it all today. Hopefully, if my voice holds up, right here on the podcast. This is SmackDown on Fox, right here on Off The Script. It is Friday, November 15th. I don't even know what day it is. I'm so tired. November 15th, 2019. Thank you guys so very much for joining me. Thank you guys for 300. Thank you guys for coming out and checking out the podcast today that was uploaded. I think I'm going to keep Friday. If I can handle it, I think I'm going to keep Friday and Saturday for Off The Script. But if you guys missed the podcast, please go and check it out. We did a great show today where we talked about CM Punk. CM Punk returns to Fox and is already being called a sellout. So make sure you guys go and check that out. We also talk about the Survivor Series. We'll talk about exactly what happened tonight. Bray Wyatt and Daniel Bryan. That was rumored. We talked about the news. It was made official tonight. Jordan Miles, he quit WWE, but we don't know if WWE actually sent out an official statement for Jordan Miles. And we talk about Monday Night Raw and NXT AEW ratings on the show. Make sure you guys go and check that out. Almost 2 hours of a podcast today, uploaded around 2:30 in the afternoon. So if you guys missed it, link will be down in the description below for episode 300 of Off The Script. Make sure you guys go and hit that subscribe button down below. As always, turn on that bell for all notifications. Make sure you guys check me out on social media at JD from NY206 on Twitter and Instagram. If you guys want to show some appreciation to the podcast on Patreon, it's always there for you guys as well. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. And tonight, the podcast is brought to you, as always, by Audible. audibletrial.com/Off The Script. Make sure you guys go and sign up. You're going to get 30 days free of their service, and that includes one free audiobook of your choice. That one audiobook can be anything you want, guys. You got over 200,000 choices to choose from, a lot of which are sports and wrestling related. You want wrestling, you want sports, baseball, basketball, football, you want politics, you want cooking, you want romance, you want sci-fi, you want fantasy. It's all on there for you guys. One book is yours for free. As far as the wrestling stuff goes, being that we are a pro wrestling podcast, we got Terry Funk, Justin Roberts, who's doing a great job with AEW. We got Chris Jericho, Shawn Michaels, Lex Luger, Jim Ross, Daniel Bryan, DDP, Dusty Rhodes, Brock Lesnar, Ronda Rousey, Bret Hart, Roddy Piper, Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, Charlotte Flair. The list goes on and on. Guys, if you want to support the podcast, there's no better way to do it tonight than Audible. audibletrial.com/Off The Script. I tell you what, man. I got to be honest with you. Sometimes when you hear Baron Corbin's theme music open a show, especially the last 2 weeks of SmackDown Live, it just sends you into a deep, dark, just lonely depression. It really does. It's just awful. And I don't know how you guys felt coming out of last week's show, but That was one of the worst segments, one of the most childish, juvenile, most embarrassing, pathetic segments I think the WWE has ever done in SmackDown history. The barking chihuahua. They did that on SmackDown last week, and they have the balls to send this guy back out here again to start the show this week and pretty much basically do the same thing, but go a step further and show us really that this show is written by 5-year-olds. I don't know. First of all, I don't even know who in their right mind, outside of Vince, because he's fucking mental and we all know that, and he's also the 5-year-old running this fucking show in a 74-year-old man body. I don't know anybody outside of Vince McMahon that looks at this show and says, what are the feuds that we can make on this show? I got it. We'll do Reigns and Corbin. And here we are in 2019, and in the beginning of the year, people hated Baron Corbin. All it took was one tournament, one King of the Ring tournament, and people respected Baron Corbin after that tournament. Everybody went into that tournament, even me, saying, God forbid Baron Corbin wins this thing. Now, we all thought Shane McMahon was going to give it to Baron Corbin, or Shane McMahon was going to win it himself. But at the end of the tournament, Baron Corbin won us over because he had great matches. Who would have thought? Getting over by actually working. Wow. He won us over. And then WWE took all of that positivity in the community, threw it away. Fuck it. Threw it away. Now Baron Corbin is right back to being get off my TV worthy. After last week, get off my TV. After this week, get the fuck out of the WWE. Never show your face on SmackDown again. I can't stand this childish shit. I don't even know why they're feuding. Can someone please tell me why? The only logical reason I have is that Baron Corbin took a fucking nice steaming dump on Roman's front lawn. It's Vince McMahon. Baron Corbin is his biggest heel, right? And Roman is his biggest guy, his number one guy. Let's pair them together. This match is the match of Vince McMahon's wet dream. It's a political agenda. His guys feuding. That's all it is. That's all it is. If you don't believe me, go fuck yourself, because that's exactly what it is. Anyway, this show opened up with Baron Corbin. He made his entrance onto the stage. 5 men carried this guy out to the ring, and he was carried to the ring on his throne. This is a Baron Corbin who was labeled King of the Ring that they didn't even give a proper coronation to. And now, after all these weeks, now he's getting a fucking coronation. Now he's coming out on a fucking throne. So we got Corbin coming out on his throne. He enters the ring. And then Ziggler and Roode are waiting in the ring for Baron Corbin. So I look at this and I'm thinking to myself, literally, I'm thinking to myself, are you fucking kidding me? I don't know how anybody's watching this show and not looking at what I'm looking at. All you have to do is look back earlier in the year. Baron Corbin was feuding with The Shield against Rollins, Reigns, and Ambrose, and he had Lashley and he had McIntyre with him. That's all this is. This is Baron Corbin replacing Lashley and McIntyre with Ziggler and Bobby Roode. That's all it is. He's got 2 new lackeys. It's like he needs losers with him everywhere he goes, just for the sake of knowing that he's a loser. It's disgusting. I don't know how anybody could justify this lack of creativity, because that's exactly what I see. You don't think this is going to be a pairing after Survivor Series? They're going to be with him in his corner every step of the way while he's feuding with Roman Reigns. It's fucking boring. It is awful. It's not even creative. It's the same shit you wrote earlier in the year going on into 2018. I don't know how anybody could sit there and watch this shit and not complain. I really don't. So he's in the ring with Ziggler and Roode. I'm going to try not to yell. but this fucking shit pisses me off. Fans are chanting, "You suck. This show sucks." So Ziggler and Roode expressed dismay at the Roode fans. Corbin said that they should be like the brave and wise wrestlers who have pledged their loyalty to his kingdom. He said Reigns is a shell of his former self, but he refuses to accept it. He said he proved Reigns is a shell, he refuses to accept it, and Reigns no longer is, or this is no longer Reigns' yard anymore. SmackDown is no longer Roman Reigns' yard. Rather, now this is his kingdom. Roode verified that this is true. Corbin declared a royal decree that he is now the team captain for Team SmackDown at Survivor Series. Who gives a shit? Really? That's like crowning yourself general manager at fucking 7-Eleven. Who gives a shit? So they showed a graphic of Corbin. We got Ali and Chad Gable, Braun Strowman, and the rest of the Survivor Series team, and Corbin. Corbin said he doesn't like any of his teammates, but there are two people that are especially weak. He said Roode and Ziggler have a chance to replace them tonight. Ziggler talked about how it should have been us. Here we go again. Here we go. It's like they take the pen and there's no new ideas. There's no ideas that are fresh and new and, fucking crisp and clean and fucking something different. Nothing. It's just like, oh, Dolph Ziggler's here. Yeah, we'll just have him complain that it should have been him. Should have been me. Should have been me that went to sleep tonight instead of watching this fucking show. Roode said they rectify that mistake tonight. He said Ali and Chad Gable, I refuse to call him the other name. He said Ali and Chad Gable are used to participation trophies and handouts, but stuff like that won't fly under King Corbin's rule. Ziggler said they'll beat up Gable and Ali, and Roode said their victory will be absolutely glorious. Corbin invited Reigns to the ring because if they're teammates at Survivor Series, they should be able to coexist in the ring tonight. Corbin called him to the ring. Reigns' music promptly played, and then out comes a fucking mascot dressed in Roman Reigns gear. A dog mascot imitating Roman Reigns' entrance, wearing Roman Reigns' fucking vest. Absolutely cringe. I swear to God, I even tweeted out, I hope 500,000 people are watching the first 15 minutes of this show and change the goddamn channel and never come back. Because this shit is absolutely terrible. It really is. I don't see how this is funny. I don't see how this is exciting. I don't see how this is a sports directive on a show that's supposed to be a little bit more sports-centric. I don't see it. What am I watching here? Other than we got a build for Survivor Series, and Corbin wants his guys now, Roode and Ziggler, on his team because he can't stand his teammates, and it set up a tag team match. That was the only bright side of this thing. Other than that, I don't know what the fuck was in this, and why this was important, or why we needed to see this. This was terrible. Absolutely terrible. And in Philadelphia, of all places. Shame on you for even going. So we got Chad Gable and Mustafa Ali versus Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler. We have Michael Cole on commentary start calling this thing, this mascot, a stuffed dog. Now, I don't know if he was eating a hot dog from Titus Catering. Maybe his hot dog was stuffed with cheese, maybe some cheddar, maybe some gorgonzola, maybe a good mozzarella. I don't know. On a nice potato bun, maybe some sauerkraut, some spicy mustard, maybe. I don't know. Stuffed dog? Am I looking at a mascot or something that you bought from fucking Build-A-Bear? Does he know what a fucking mascot is? Then I gotta hear him bickering with Corey Graves. Cringe. Everything about this was cringe. This was a decent tag team match. All four of these guys are great. I just don't give a shit about Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler. There's no reason for me to care about Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler. Why? Why? They're a tag team. You wouldn't know it because there's only two fucking tag teams that compete on this show. So we got Chad Gable getting a hot tag. Scored a near fall on Bobby Roode. Reigns is on the outside. Reigns came out eventually to retaliate against Baron Corbin and the fucking mascot, right? So obviously they went to commercial break when Reigns came out. So Reigns was there after the commercial break. He was in his guy's corner. So Ali saved Chad Gable from a zigzag. Ziggler super kicked Ali off the ring apron. Gable then put Ziggler in an ankle lock. Nice move there. It was a nice transition into the ankle lock by Chad Gable. Ziggler sold it really well. And Roode broke it up. Corbin looked very stressed on the outside. He was frantically pacing back and forth. Corbin then offered his scepter to Bobby Roode, but Reigns, obviously seeing this from the other side of the ring, he ran around ringside and gave Baron Corbin a drive-by in mid-scepter handoff. That's exactly what happened there. So Reigns gave him a drive-by. Roode then said, you know what, you want to attack the king? I'm going to fuck you up. Roode threw Reigns headfirst into the announce table. Ali, seeing all this chaos happening on the outside, he dove through the ropes on top of Bobby Roode. He goes over the announce table. Chaos on the outside. Reigns then gave Corbin a spear, and he took him out at ringside. So he was fist bumping some fans, front row. Really cool moment there for those guys front row. Back in the ring, we got Chad Gable giving Ziggler a back suplex. And then Ali landed a beautiful 450 splash off the back suplex to score the 3 count. Reigns and his guys get the victory over Baron Corbin, Bobby Roode, and Dolph Ziggler. Now, this was a tag team match. If Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler won, they would have taken Chad Gable and Mustafa Ali spots at Survivor Series. Clearly, that would have been A, the wrong decision, and B, the wrong decision. So I'm glad that did not happen. But now we are getting this match again next week, only with Reigns added and Baron Corbin added, making it a 6-man tag. It's like a never-ending fucking nightmare. It's the same thing over and over and over again. It's bringing me back terrible nightmares from what they did with Braun Strowman and Lashley and McIntyre and Corbin, taking him out and then them eventually moving on to the Shield. I can't do it. I can't do it. If SmackDown is going to be anchored by this shit, I cannot do it. This is just lazy creative writing. And please, I hope this is the end of it. After Survivor Series, I pray to God this is the end of it. I can't take this shit anymore. Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler, I don't give a shit about them. They're too good to be in the fucking non-existent positions that they're in. They honestly don't need to be lackeys. Why do you look at Dolph Ziggler? I honestly mean this. Why do you look at Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode and look at them as lackeys? I don't get it. This is a former fucking Intercontinental Champion, multi-time world champion. Bobby Roode is fucking too good to be in this position. They don't need anybody. You paired them for a reason, so let them go and do what they have to do for the reason that you fucking paired them together. Baron Corbin, I can't take this fucking shit anymore. He's nothing but fucking cringe. He is not funny. He's not good. He looked good coming out of the tournament, and now he's right back to being the fucking shitty character that he played before he actually showed us a glimpse of what he could do. And Roman Reigns, don't get me started. I mean, he's fine for now. I'm waiting for that fucking volcano to erupt where we all start shitting on Roman Reigns again. Just watch. All it's going to take is one spear, and the Fiend is done. It's coming. Get ready for it. They showed the WWE backstage surprise return of CM Punk. I started laughing, and I was quite sad, actually. I was laughing, and I was quite sad at the same time. When they showed CM Punk return, he was mentioned on SmackDown. Michael Cole uttered his name on Fox. Corey Graves didn't say anything. Surprise, surprise there. And they showed the clip of him coming through the door, and we all watched. We all seen the clip. We all watched live. Cult of Personality played in the backstage studio. On Fox, here for SmackDown, they edited in some cheap fucking rock and roll jam that he obviously didn't come out to. Now WWE doesn't own the rights to Cult of Personality by Living Color. Oh well. Oh well. That's what you get. You only get half of CM Punk. At least he was mentioned on Fox, though. But, guys, he's not back with the WWE like these other cretins are reporting. He's a Fox employee. Keep it that way. Anyway. Decent match. Chad Gable and Mustafa Ali win. They are still in the Survivor Series. Moving on, we got Bray Wyatt standing in the funhouse. He said something isn't quite right. Now, we see the Universal Championship sitting on the table in front of him on a nice cloth. It's nice and red. The side plates look beautiful. It's got the Fiend's face on it. But it's not really a new title. So he puts on a magician's cape and he takes a magic wand and he takes the wand and he waves it over the title and says some hocus pocus and whatever he's doing, some Harry Potter shit. And he turns the Universal title from red to blue. And he says, ta-da! Much better. He said their fun is just getting started and it's nearly time for MizTV with Bryan. He said he'll be watching and he will be watching as well. So that's that. I liked when Bray used the wand to turn the title into blue from red. What I don't like is the fact that WWE once again shows us how lazy and uncreative they are. Now, I get it. The Universal title is on SmackDown. It's something that made sense to do, turning it from red to blue. You can't have it stay red because red is not the brand's color. So it's now blue. Fine. Great. It looks better than the red. It really does. And I mean that in all honesty. But what I'm trying to tell you, what I'm really urging you guys to understand is that I don't like lazy. It's okay if you like the title's design. Fine. We didn't really expect WWE to go out there and make any drastic changes to the title anyway. But what I'm saying is that they could always do better. And then what WWE presents to you, you guys accept because they've brainwashed you and manipulated you to accept mediocrity. I don't do that. I don't accept mediocrity. With somebody like Bray Wyatt, that's a character that's unlike anybody else on this roster. You're going to give him a blue title? Blue doesn't even go with the color scheme of his act. There's nothing blue about his act. Now, Bray Wyatt was featured with a custom-made belt by, I don't know who it was, Belt Fan Dan or something like that. One of those custom belt makers that really does a fucking phenomenal job. The belt's strap went right along with the color scheme of Bray Wyatt. It wasn't red. It wasn't like a fucking fruit by the foot or fruit roll-up strap that you seen with the Universal Championship. Now we got a fucking blue, and now we got a what's blue that the kids eat? What's blue? I don't know. A fucking Jolly Rancher, blue Jolly Rancher. What do they eat? What are the kids eating now that's blue? I don't even know. Anyway, we got Bray Wyatt showcasing a custom-made title that went perfect with his color scheme, and WWE is so lazy to go out there and pay someone to make this fucking belt for him and work with these independent creators to make something fucking unique and make the character stand out even more so than it does now and give it that extra touch. They gotta just dumb everything down. You know what? We'll take it from red and we'll make it blue. So now when WWE wants to move it back over to Monday Night Raw, all they gotta do is pull the red one out of the WWE vault. It's lazy. It's lazy. Does it look better? Yeah. Anything looks better than the red. I like blue. Blue is one of my favorite colors. I don't mind the blue. I just think it could have been more. That's all I'm saying. I wish WWE would go out there and use something like this, these little subtleties, just to make the act stand out that much more. It's as if they don't care. Blue. I can't wait to see what the blue title looks on Bray Wyatt when he's coming out in the fucking dark. Ridiculous. Anyway, Braun Strowman made his way to the ring. Drew Gulak and the B team were standing in the ring. Looks like Philadelphia was the home of losers tonight. Drew Gulak and the B team were standing in the ring. Gulak suggested Braun Strowman and his place on SmackDown at Survivor Series goes to him. So Gulak was offering his services to take Braun Strowman's spot at the Survivor Series. Showed a picture on the screen of Gulak's arm being raised and the headline, Gulak saves Team SmackDown. So obviously Strowman, he didn't say anything here. Grabbed Gulak's hand as he pointed at him, twisted him to the mat, and Gulak really got in his face. So, Michael Cole even said, is Gulak fucking serious? Really? I mean, how stupid can he be? He put his finger, I thought he was going to fucking touch him on the nose. Like, do one of these little numbers. Right on the nose. But he got his finger right in his face. And then obviously Strowman took offense to this and bent his fingers back. So Strowman grabbed Gulak's hand and he twisted him to the mat. The B team attacked him. Strowman ended up beating them up. And that was pretty much it. That was it. So he destroyed 3 men, 3 losers. Gulak is still a loser on SmackDown. And I fucking hate it. Gulak went right back to being the Gulak that Vince McMahon seen on 205 Live last year, and I don't think he even realized that Gulak was on a career resurgence. It sucks to see Drew Gulak, someone so fucking talented, on this show that should be so much more, fighting for a mid-card title, honestly, withered away into being beat down with the fucking B team on Braun Strowman, or by Braun Strowman on SmackDown. Then you'll have some fucking idiot in the comments, well, at least they got TV time. Fuck a TV time. I'd rather sit in catering. Shinsuke Nakamura and Sami Zayn, they approached Daniel Bryan backstage. He said they need an answer tonight. He said after what The Fiend did to him last week, it's apparent that Daniel Bryan needs them. Sami said he wants him with them. Bryan then asked Sami, well, listen, if you have my back, why did you run last week when The Fiend had his finger in my mouth? Sami said he ran and thought Bryan was right behind him running. Bryan then definitely said he doesn't need or want their help. Bryan suggested Braun Strowman instead join them. Sami said they are artists, so Braun wouldn't bring anything to the table. And then, obviously, Braun Strowman was standing right there, and in comes Braun Strowman. He stood there. Sami Zayn looked scared. He did a lot of talking to get himself out of the situation. And he took Nakamura by the hand, and he quietly and carefully and cautiously exited the situation and said, please, please, we're going to leave. We respect you. We will come look for you. Please do not come look for us. And then goodbye, Sami Zayn and Shinsuke Nakamura. But Shinsuke Nakamura kept a nice little eye lock on Braun Strowman. That could be, I would not be shocked to see Braun Strowman and Shinsuke Nakamura be the next program for the Intercontinental Championship following this little back and forth here between Sami Zayn and Braun Strowman. After the Survivor Series, of course. Because what else is there for Braun Strowman to do? They got this fucking Tyson Fury garbage out of the way. He's not going to feud with Drew Gulak. So what are you going to do with him? There really is nobody else for Braun Strowman to feud with. I guess Shinsuke Nakamura makes the best possible scenario for him. Bryan was supposed to feud with Nakamura. Miz was supposed to feud with Bray Wyatt. Now everything got fucked up. Now Bryan is with Bray Wyatt. The Miz has nobody. And God forbid we see Nakamura and the Miz again. I don't want to see that again. Neither do you. So we're going to get Strowman and Nakamura. It's something new, I guess. Still not interesting. I couldn't give a shit about Braun Strowman and Shinsuke Nakamura, but we'll see. I guess that's the direction that they're going in. So we got the WWE Tag Team titles. Always good to see a tag team title match on Basic TV, one of their weekly television shows. But I would love to know why the Revival got a rematch for the Tag Team Championships. Nobody even decided or even came close to give us an explanation as to why the Revival got a Tag Team Championship match on this show. So WWE, they dust off the antiquated rematch clause that Shane McMahon had put into retirement many, many months ago. Remember that? I remember it. I think everybody remembers it. I remember it. You remember it. Fucking Pepperidge Farm remembers it. That motherfucker doesn't forget a goddamn thing. Give me some Milano cookies, bitch. Please. So they dust off the antiquated rematch clause, and they don't give us a reason why the Revival are getting a tag team title match. Okay. I guess we're all stupid. I guess we're all just stupid and very forgetful. Or maybe we don't deserve a reason. Just enjoy the show. Just enjoy the show, JD. I'm sorry I like to be filled in on stuff like this. Why? The most important question in the creative process is why? They can't even do that right. Unreal. I love both of these teams when they're on. Revival's great. New Day, when they're on, they're great. This was a very good match. But everything that happened here did not mean a goddamn thing. Nothing. Nothing. Now you look at this match. WWE was not going to make the New Day lose and drop the titles back to the Revival. Why would they do that? Why would they do that? They're not going to have the New Day win the titles and then drop them the very next week. That makes no sense. Now, WWE give us a match that we would much rather prefer? Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Yeah, let's give it back to the Revival and give the fans what they want. Yeah, sure. So, that wasn't going to happen. Now, if WWE actually beat the Revival, and I'm thinking about this logically, I put a lot of thought into this, man. They were not going to have the New Day drop the titles. You can't blatantly beat the Revival again 2 weeks in a row. Can't do that. Because if WWE did that, it would pretty much be them saying, fuck the Revival. These guys didn't sign the contracts, the 5-year lucrative deals that we gave them. Not one pen went to fucking paper on these contracts, and fuck the Revival. So if WWE beat the Revival in a very convincing fashion here before the Survivor Series, it would have been just a way for WWE to embarrass them. And you don't want to have that be blatant on their television program. People are going to see right through that. And I hope that they know that. I really hope that they know that. I certainly would have seen it. Now, everything that these two teams did not mean anything. So this match was pretty much a wash. It meant nothing. The Undisputed Era came down after a shatter machine. We had a shatter machine on Big E. Kofi broke it up. Kofi then got dragged from the ring to the outside and got thrown into the barricade by Adam Cole and Roderick Strong. On the opposite side, we had, I believe it was Dawson on the outside, who got a high-low from O'Reilly and Fish. Then back in the ring, they took care of everybody else in the ring, and Undisputed Era was just a four-man wrecking crew on both of these teams. Then we got the SmackDown Circus coming out from the back, and they chased the Undisputed Era away. The Undisputed Era jumped the barricade, they retreat, they go into the crowd, and they start trash-talking back and forth between both sides. And that was pretty much it. So it was more of the same old shit by WWE. Did the New Day lose the tag team championships? No, they did not. Did the Revival win the tag team championships? No, they did not. So both of those scenarios are out the window. So what does WWE end up going with? Option C, same old Survivor Series shit that you've seen for the last 3 weeks. Nothing new, nothing fresh, nothing exciting. It's the same garbage that you've been watching on our programs. That's all they know how to do. If you weren't excited about the Survivor Series, you weren't going to be excited after this. If you were excited for the Survivor Series, you're not any more excited than you already were after watching this segment. It was a wash. An absolute wash. Now, the one thing, I got to point this out because I laughed. We got Apollo Crews as one of the guys that came out. It was Heavy Machinery, Lucha House Party, Titus O'Neil. He took a step back and left one of executive chefs in the back in charge. Apollo Crews and Heath Slater. Apollo Crews was standing on the ropes. Camera was right in his face while Undisputed Era jumped the barricade. And the camera got in his face and you clearly heard him say, "Come on, do you want some?" Bro, what are you offering the Undisputed Era? What could they possibly want some of that you have to offer? So then I'm thinking, I'm looking at the clock, I'm looking at the time right now and the segment that's airing. And I'm like, I know what it is. Apollo knows that the Undisputed Era is here on a one-night basis. That's it. Before they got to go back down to Orlando. And around 9:30 is when Titus's Bake Shop opens. And I'm hearing he had double chocolate chip, oatmeal raisin, and a little early, but it's one of Adam Cole's favorite, gingerbread. Gingerbread cookies got displayed on the catering table for Titus's Bake Shop. So that's what Apollo Crews meant. Come on, you want some? It had to be the gingerbread cookies, bro. Had to be the gingerbread. Listen, if you're selling gingerbread cookies, if you're baking gingerbread cookies, or if I'm in the vicinity of gingerbread cookies, bro, please don't speak to me. Don't speak to me. Just give me the tray. I'll go into a corner somewhere. Just give me a gingerbread fucking beer. I'm good to go. I'm good to go. I love gingerbread. I really do. Anyway, good match. Nothing new. And it was the same old Survivor Series hype. Simple. Heavy Machinery, they were out. Otis and Tucker, they actually had a match against Kevin Tibbs and Kip Stevens. Now, Corey Graves mentioned something on commentary. I've never met a man that, well, or something along the lines of, I never met a manly man that went by the name of Kip, or something like that. Something along those lines. I don't know if it was a fucking shoot on Billy Gunn, but it looked rather, and sounded rather weird for him to just say that. Like, leave these fucking bums alone, let them get destroyed in 1 minute, and just move about the fucking show. Why you gotta make fun of the name Kip when you know that there's a Kip that works for All Elite Wrestling? Come on. That's a cheap shot indirectly, or I guess directly, but, you know, in Corey Graves' way, to throw a shot at AEW. Maybe. I'm not sitting here saying that it is, but it obviously was something that caught Billy Gunn's attention on Twitter because he tweeted about it. So I figured I'd mention it here. Heavy Machinery wins in 2 minutes with the compactor. That's it. Heavy Machinery should be in the tag team title mix. Hopefully. They're very good. I'd like to see more of them. Kayla interviewed Bayley and Sasha Banks. Now, oh, by the way, I gotta mention this. Man. How many of you were irked and bothered by Michael Cole saying the Undisputed Era? The Undisputed Era. Bro, please. It's era. Undisputed Era. He's got to make it sound Michael Cole-ish. So get ready for the main roster when they make their main roster debut. Oh, look, it's the Undisputed Era. Just like he fucks up Bayley's name. Bayley. God, I fucking hate it. I really do. I really do. It's Bayley. It's Undisputed Era. I don't know. Maybe I'm different. I don't know. Maybe there are people that say it like that. I don't know. You're a weirdo, but whatever. Kayla interviewed Bayley and Sasha Banks. She asked if the attacks were personal as they feel. Bayley said Becky Lynch and Baszler won't see her as an afterthought ever again. Bayley said she competes for her and herself only, and beating people up brings her personal joy. Sasha said Nikki Cross doesn't deserve to be on Team SmackDown, and Bayley has beat her countless of times. And Bayley said after she beats Nikki again, maybe she'll join Team SmackDown, and then they can beat Team Raw and Team NXT. It is very difficult to not like Sasha Banks. I know she's a heel, and she's a bad guy, and Bayley's a bad guy, but I still enjoy watching them. It is very difficult for me to boo both of these women. So it's like, yeah, they need an attitude change. they need, or especially Bayley, she needed just a change in everything. They gave it to her. It's working, but I don't feel any different towards Bayley than I did. I hope the fans are legitimately buying into it. I hope. We'll see what happens. Nikki Cross and Bayley, this didn't even get started because Nikki ducked Bayley as she charged as the match started. And then all of a sudden, Shayna Baszler showed up. As soon as the opening sequence of the match began, and she entered the ring, Bayley got out of the ring quick. She jumped the barricade, she jumped into the crowd, and then she was met and stopped by Rhea Ripley, Tegan Nox, Dakota Kai, and Mia Yim. How Mia Yim is even standing and even in the ring following Wednesday, I don't know. That woman is a fucking beast. So they threw Bayley back to ringside. Banks jumped Baszler from behind, and the NXT women swarmed the ring. I have a problem with this. I have a problem with this, and I have a big problem with this. And I don't know why this was put into the script and just put in there blatantly with nobody overlooking it and saying, whoa, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? I can't buy into the fact of Baszler being in the ring and Bayley escaping the ring because of Shayna Baszler jumping the barricade and being met by Rhea Ripley, Tegan Nox, Dakota Kai, and Mia Yim. Okay? Aren't these the women? Aren't these the same women that are going to war with Shayna Baszler on Saturday at War Games? And now all of a sudden you're expecting me to not think about what happened on Wednesday and what's been happening on Wednesday with Shayna and her team against Rhea Ripley and her team? Am I supposed to realize or forget that that's even a match? Like, why am I watching this on TV right now? Why is this on my TV? Why are these women throwing Bayley at the feet of Shayna Baszler as if they're doing Shayna Baszler's bidding, and these are the women that are going to be in a fucking cage with Shayna in a week? That doesn't make any sense at all. How do you look at that and find that to make sense? Somebody must not be watching NXT then. I don't know. I don't like that at all. That is a huge oversight, and it makes whatever story NXT is telling look fucking stupid. Why would any of them be throwing Bayley to Shayna Baszler? Doesn't make any sense at all. Now, we got Nikki Cross and Bayley not happening. It was washed. Sasha, Nikki, Carmella, and Dana Brooke versus Tegan Nox, Rhea Ripley, Dakota Kai, and Mia Yim. Now, Sasha Banks took the microphone and challenged all of them to an 8-woman tag team match right now. You want the spotlight? I'm going to give it to you. Get in the ring. Let's have a match. So this one went 8 minutes. This was fun for what it was. Nobody looked out of place. You know, Dana Brooke, the more on the apron she stays, the better. All she does is that handspring back elbow. Okay, is that all you could do? I mean, that's the only spot that they allow her to do. So the more time she spends on the apron, the match will probably end up being better. But there was a nice interaction between Sasha and Rhea Ripley in this match. And I'm watching these two go at it. And they had Ripley give Banks a suplex, a nice vertical suplex. And then she trash-talked Sasha on the mat and started yelling, NXT, baby, NXT. We are NXT. And Banks then applied the bank statement, and Ripley escaped and shoved Sasha out of the way. So that was really good. And this one ended in 8 minutes. Nikki tagged in. She avoided a leap off the top rope and then eventually countered Kai with the pin and a neck breaker for the win. And that was pretty much it. This was fun for what it was. Early Survivor Series hype and build. And I love the interaction between Rhea Ripley and Sasha Banks because I'm looking at these two and I'm thinking to myself, this is what the division should really be. This is what it really should be. This is the future of the division. And I see what we're getting now with the NXT women and I see the main roster women and how it's just a fucking mess. This is the future. This is what we expect out of women's wrestling. Rhea Ripley and Sasha Banks gave us a couple of minutes in the ring with each other. I'm like, man, I'd love to see this in the overall grand scheme of the division. You know, this is what I want women's wrestling to be on the main roster. This is what I want it to feel like. This is what I want it to look like. We're not even there yet. We're not even there. We were there, and now we're not. It's like we took 8 steps backwards. When are we going to get back to that? Really? I want to see more of what Rhea and Sasha did. Briefly, I want to see more of that on the main roster. I really do think that these shows would be a lot better if we got women that could actually wrestle like Io and Candice and Bianca. Just the way NXT is booking the division. If we seen that mentality for how they handle their women on the main roster, these shows would be so much better. And WWE fails to book the women in any meaningful way. It's like they push who they want, and then they suppress the rest of the roster because they're not blonde or they're not who they want. They're not the flavor of the week or the month. It's sad. It really is. So this was an early Survivor Series tease, and Nikki, Banks, Carmella, and Dana Brooke win in 8 minutes. Final segment of the night. MizTV. Finally. My voice says finally. Then we could go to bed. Miz had his Philly is awesome t-shirt. Of course he did. Of course he did. Another WWE loser who needs to put the city in which the show is performing in on his shirt just to get fucking cheers because nobody would cheer him otherwise because he's a loser. And he sucks as a babyface. There, I said it. Sue me. Miz was awesome tonight, though, because he brought out his inner Miz, his inner dick, his inner heel, which we need. We need heel Miz. That's when he was at his best. That's when he is at his best. Miz said he is looking forward to this because he has material that he can sink his teeth into. He said The Fiend beat Seth at Crown Jewel. Please don't remind me. Thank you for reminding me, Mizanin. Fiend beat Seth Rollins at Crown Jewel and brought the Universal title to SmackDown. Then last week he shockingly and brutally beat his guest. And now we'll find out why. Miz then says Daniel Bryan, and he comes on out, and that's pretty much it. Miz said the reason the Fiend went after him is because he's washed up and unstable, and he doesn't know who he is anymore. He said he might be the old Daniel Bryan leading the Yes Movement, or he might be the new Daniel Bryan who tells people to recycle and be environmentally friendly and eat organic meat. Or is Bryan still a vegan? I don't know. He might still be a vegan. But you got to eat organic meat, please. It's the way to go. Bryan stood up and said he was quiet because MizTV sucks. I agree. I agree with Daniel Bryan. SmackDown sucks, MizTV sucks, Monday Night Raw sucks, WWE sucks. Everything sucks. Daniel Bryan doesn't suck. Daniel Bryan does not suck at all. He yelled what he knows is still passion that he has. He tells the Miz that he wouldn't understand what passion is. He said Miz wouldn't understand it, but Bray would understand it because he's mentally unstable. He said there's nobody better to fight a mentally unstable person than, and then all of a sudden the Firefly Funhouse theme plays, and I was enjoying Bryan yelling at the Miz and raising his voice at the Miz, and then we got Bray Wyatt to fuck all that up and be a cockblock. So the Firefly Funhouse shows up on the Titantron. Bray appeared on the Titantron and said maybe he did what he did because he remembers what Bryan did. Bryan took off that prison garb back in the day on Monday Night Raw, and he led a yes chant that fucking rocked the foundation of whatever venue they were in Rhode Island. Still to this day, I haven't heard reactions like that since the days of Austin and The Rock. It was a thing of fucking beauty. You watch that, I swear to fucking Christ, it gives you chills. That's what Bryan did to Wyatt. He broke free. He broke away from the Wyatt family. He left Wyatt and Harper and Rowan just desolate. And that's what Wyatt's talking about. I love that. I love that Wyatt is digging back into his past to just repay everybody that did him wrong. This is definitely on the top tier things for Bray Wyatt to do. Daniel Bryan, and a feud with Daniel Bryan because of what he did. And I honestly think it's not going to be told in the way that it should be told. It's not going to be told in the manner that it should be told. And I hate it. I hate the fact that it's going to happen in 3 weeks. They cannot tell the story that these two men have in 3 weeks. In 3 weeks. I don't really understand the need to rush through this. I can't stand that mentality. I really can't. Where is the care? Where is the respect for storytelling? This is why nobody's fucking invested. This is why nobody continues to watch. They watch 1 week and then they don't watch the next week. They watch some the next week, then they don't watch at all. Nobody is invested on a week-to-week basis because you don't prepare storylines the way that they should be prepared. You don't give stories, you don't tell stories in the way that they deserve to be told. And I can't stand that. I really can't. And this is why I said, if this is the build that they're going to give us, if this is going to be the lazy build, and they're going to mask it, they're going to hide it behind Bray Wyatt, they're going to hide it behind Daniel Bryan and a Universal title match, that's great. It's great. I don't know how great the match is going to be with The Fiend. You know? Is it going to be in the red light? Am I going to watch a Daniel Bryan fucking match in a red light? Yeah, they're going to mask it behind, oh, look, it's Daniel Bryan, one of the best in the world against The Fiend. They're going to mask it in that. And that's all they're going to do. It's these two WWE superstars on the spotlight at Survivor Series. What's the story? You didn't have enough time to tell me the fucking story. How many people are going to remember that steel cage match? How many? Not many. I do. I know where the story went. I know what the story is. But I want you to tell me. I want you to tell me. I want you to tell me why I should be even more excited about this match. And you failed already. You're merely doing it just to put another title match and The Fiend on a marquee that doesn't need another title match and a marquee of The Fiend. It doesn't. It doesn't. There's so much going on Survivor Series night that you don't need The Fiend. You don't. And I'm going to stick to my guns on that. I don't give a shit if you agree with me, if you disagree with me, if you think I'm an asshole, if you think I'm being too critical. I don't give a shit. Go do your own fucking show and tell me why you think Bray Wyatt should defend the Universal title against Daniel fucking Bryan in 3 weeks. And have people care. There's not one fucking reason you can come up with to get me to say, you know what, you're right. It's not happening. It's not happening. The only thing that they got is that it's Daniel Bryan against Bray Wyatt. After Daniel Bryan, who is there? Nobody. Nobody. Braun Strowman? Yeah, I'm so fucking excited. I can't wait for that. So, he starts to get sinister. He said he remembers. And maybe he did it to have fun. So, he snapped back into Mr. Rogers' Bray Wyatt. And he began pulling toys out of a big toy crate. There was a wig, a bloody doll, a truck, a clown horn, probably from Seth Rollins' fucking luggage. There was a saw. He says, how did this get in there? And then the Universal title was buried underneath all of his toys. He said, all Bryan has to do is say one magic word. The crowd chanted yes. Bryan then looked at the crowd and said, no. No. Abby, the witch, was there in the funhouse. She said yes. We got Huskus the pig. He burped and said yes. Ramblin' Rabbit said yes. We got Mercy the buzzard saying yes. Bryan said no. No, no, no. He said no to each and every one of them. He said it's clear to him that Bray has a problem with him. If you want to fight, let's fight. He won't go play with the puppets because he knows what he's trying to do. If you want to fight, let's fight. If we're going to do it, let's do it for the Universal Championship. He asked Bray, so Bray, what do you say? Bray paused and then said, yes, 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 and each time raising the octave in his voice until he was screaming it over and over and over again. And then The Miz stopped all this chaos. Fiend and the Bray Wyatt ended up starting to laugh after everything was over, but The Miz made it official on MizTV. It's going to be Daniel Bryan versus Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, for the Universal Championship at the Survivor Series. And that was the way SmackDown went off the air. Bryan's music played. He walked up the ramp. No attack. No anything. Now we got 1 week. We got one more Survivor Series. We got one more Survivor Series. One more week for Survivor Series build. One more SmackDown before Survivor Series. And what are they going to do? What are they going to do to sell me on this match? You got such a beautiful history. A history that molded Daniel Bryan into the fucking Daniel Bryan we all watched win the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 30. This beautiful moment that you're building this storyline on. And we got an attack in the dark in the back by Bray Wyatt with the mandible claw. We got what we got tonight. What's going to be next week? What's the bill going to be next week? Are you going to bring up the past? You're going to bring up what happened? You're going to go into detail as to why Bray targeted Daniel Bryan for the exact reasons? You're going to give me the fucking why? I don't know why you guys would be so invested and excited for something that is so half-assed. It doesn't need to happen yet. It needs to happen. I'd love it to happen. But it needs to be built properly. It doesn't need to happen at the Survivor Series. It's too soon. Way too soon. And WWE is doing themselves a huge disservice and disrespectful to the story that they told back in the day with Bryan and Wyatt. They're disrespecting the work that those two guys did and that moment. To do what? Not tell the fucking story as to why Bryan did what he did then and why Bray Wyatt's upset now? It's fucking lazy, dude. Absolute lazy. You guys got to put a little bit more thought into what you're watching, really. There's no reason for this to be happening. It's fucking way too soon. There's no investment. There's no fucking story. It's just there for the sake of being there because WWE doesn't know anything but quantity over quality. I'm getting out of here. My voice is shot. Don't know how I'm going to do what I got to do this weekend, but we're going to try and manage, man. Thank you guys so very much. I'm going to get out of here. You guys know what to do. Social media, videos if you missed them, everything's live. Please go and check out Off The Script that we uploaded. Make sure you guys go and check out Part 1. CM Punk returns to Fox. It's already being called a sellout. Thank you guys for 300 episodes. I'm going to try and get better this weekend, man. I really am. Thank you all so much for a great weekend of content. I will see you back on Monday. I'm not going to be here Sunday. I'll be back on Monday. Have a great weekend, guys. And I will see you tomorrow for Off The Script. And then that's it for me this weekend. Have a cold one for me. I'm going to have myself a hot tea before bed. And I will see you guys right back here for Raw on Monday night. See you then.